story? Let me tell you a story about Marilyn's Pool Cafe. Like Marilyn Monroe? That's the name, Marilyn's Pool Cafe. What can you do there, boss? You can shoot pool. That's what you can do at the time. Now there's also a restaurant. A beautiful couple, Marcel and Angelina, are the owners. They're friends of us, and I was doing the security there. Now, I wasn't really prominent there all the time because I didn't need to. I lived a mile away from the house, and everybody in town knew that I was kind of the security guy, so there was not a lot of trouble there. But, you know, sometimes people come from different cities, and they can start trouble. So the only thing he needed to do is give me a call. I would drive over, and bada bing, bada boom, we took care of the problem. Now this time they didn't even have to call me because we were there at Christmas, second Christmas day. Everybody's having a great time, and there's this big guy. And when I say big, you know, this got me in trouble a few times here in America. That means you're not fat. That means you're a big guy. Okay, so sometimes I say here to an American person, I go, man, look at you, you look big. He go, well, I didn't gain any weight. I go, no, that's not what I mean. You're a freaking giant guy. Anyway, I'm there, there's this big guy with a big lady, and he's playing the slot machine. In Holland, in every bar, you have pretty much a slot machine. You can gamble. And obviously, needless to say, it's not going his way because every time he was shaking that machine. So I'm looking at the owner like I'm going to say something, and the owner goes, no, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. I think he believed that I was going to hit him, which, first of all, it's Christmas Day, second Christmas Day, I would never do that. And second of all, I would never do that anyway. I always go over to talk. But anyway, I let him go. He goes to the guy looks at him, they nod yes, he walks away, the guy looks at his wife or his girlfriend, start laughing, and he starts shaking the slot machine again. So I walk over, and I say, hey, listen, and my buddy is there, by the way, Leon Van Dyke. You remember Leon Van Dyke? He's one of the guys responsible for my career because he was the only sparring partner that I had in Holland. And he brought his girlfriend, who was also a great mixed martial artist. So we're there, I walk over to the guy, Leon walks over to the guy, he stands a little close, he doesn't stand with me. And I tell the wife, say, let's go over to the guy, listen man, you're going to have to slow down a little bit. I mean, it's Christmas time, can I get you a beer or something, you know, so relax. And maybe you should stop gambling, because if you're not winning, it's not going to be a fun Christmas day. And he goes, what do you want? I said, well, what I'm asking you right now, could you please tone it down a little bit? Can I get you a drink? And he's pushing me with his right hand on my chest. Boof. And I look at Leon and I say, Mata Leo. And he knows what that means. And every person who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu knows what it means. Mata Leo means, in Portuguese, kill the lion. Because apparently the only way to kill a lion is by a rear naked choke. So a different name for rear naked choke is Mata Leo. So I look at Leon, I smile, and I say, Mata Leo. And right away, I do exactly the same thing to that person, which triggered that reaction from him pushing me. And what do you know? I triggered the same reaction. This time I was ready though. So he's a big guy, like I said, right? He's pushing me. I push his hand to the side. I jump up in his neck like Thunder Lips and Rocky, right? When they're fighting. I'm up in the pants and everybody's freaking out. I said, no, be quiet, be quiet. Go 5, 4, 3, and boof, he fell down. I hold a few more seconds. Okay, he's out. I grab him by the feet and I start dragging him out. And while I'm dragging him out, I get sucker punched in the face. And I'm looking, and it's his girlfriend. And as soon as I look at her, boom, she gets glocked. And that was the girlfriend from Leon Van Dyke. She knocked her out. So now we're both grabbing him by the ankles and we're pulling him outside. We called the police, but they were gone before the police came. The jacket was in the place. He asked about the jacket because the keys were in there. And I said, no, you shouldn't be driving because you're drunk. This is a very dangerous thing. So come back later. It took 2 weeks actually for him to pick up that jacket. But that is story number 1. That's just a little story that I gave because there was always a bar where something happened. Second story. Okay, so my wife is taking driving classes. And she has this crazy instructor, she tells me all the time. He's like ADD, is all over the place, and he's talking really weird. But, you know, he's a fun guy. It's just a crazy guy. So now we're in the bar, same bar, with my wife. And apparently he said something to my wife. So my wife walks over to me, and she goes, hey, boss, I think you should start stretching. I go, why would you say that? He said, well, that guy right there, this big bodybuilder guy, said that he was going to beat me up. I go, why? I don't know. He's talking to 2 ladies, and suddenly he turned to me and says, I'm going to beat the crap out of you in a few minutes. I go, really? Okay, so I'm walking over, and I say, excuse me, did you just tell my girlfriend that you were going to beat her up? And he goes, yeah, I did. And then he looked at the 2 ladies he was talking about. I had this 2 times in my life. This was one of the few times he said, he goes, ladies, I have some business to take care of. Give me a moment. And as soon as he said that, suddenly he made a move for the bar stool. And he lifts it above his head, but needless to say, when two hands are busy, he had no defense. So I go bang, the guy goes down, I grab him by the head, knee him in the face, bar broke, like the railing of the bar broke. And by the way, if you ever go to that place, it's still broke. They told me we're never going to fix it because this is a great story. Boss broke the bar here with somebody's head. So teeth are flying, this whole thing. It went a little bit too hard, but hey, what can I do? He wanted to hit me with a chair on my head. So we bring the guy outside, same thing. I called the police on him though, so the police came and I think he needed to go to the hospital. So the next day, my wife is taking driving classes, and that weirdo instructor comes in, but he's late, like 10 minutes late, and he's sweating and he's like all freaking out. And my wife goes, "What's going on?" He says, "Oh, I have a crazy son. He always gets into fights, and yesterday he picked a fight with the wrong person." So my wife goes, "Oh crap, that's the guy, right?" So now fast forward to New Year's. New Year's Eve in Holland is the same as the 4th of July here. That's where we use fireworks, big fireworks. So we're standing outside and we're shooting fireworks at each other with rockets, and we're throwing firecrackers, and we do crazy stuff like every kid does. Well, we were still kids even though I was like 24. Playing with fireworks. And suddenly a friend of mine goes like, "Hey boss, I brought a bomb." I go, "Excuse me, a bomb?" He says, "Yeah, I got C4. I said, "You're kidding. I want to detonate the bomb. I never did that in my life. Please, can I detonate the bomb?" And he goes, "Sure." So he goes and get it. And he comes back in this little plastic square box, whatever it is, with like 6 feet of wire. And I go, "Yeah, because you have to detonate it with a battery." And I go, "Yeah, we're going to need more wire, man, because this is not good. I'm going to blow myself up." So what do we do? I mean, it's midnight, can't go to a store right now. And suddenly this guy taps me on the shoulder and he says, "Hey, boss, come with me. I have an answer for you." So I walk with the guy. He opens the back of his car and he starts ripping out his speaker cables. And I go, no, stop. I said, "Don't do that, man. We'll find some cables." I said, "You're drunk right now. You drank too much, and tomorrow you're going to hate yourself." He said, No, don't worry about it. I want to see you detonate that bomb." I go, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, okay." So we start ripping the speaker cables out. And then suddenly he told me, he says, "You don't remember me, right?" I go, "No, enlighten me." And he goes, you beat my teeth out here at the bar one time. You kneed me in the face." I go, "Shit, that was you, but you were a giant guy." He says, "Yeah, I was doing a lot of steroids at the time, and it made me a very angry person, but you actually set me free." He said, you set me straight, because from that moment on, I never used steroids anymore, and I was never aggressive anymore, so I never got in trouble." So it ended up with him and I drinking a beer together, and actually every time when we would see each other in the bar afterwards, we would always sit down and drink a beer together. See, this is what life is all about. You have a driver instructor who's crazy, who has a crazy son, and the crazy son gets beaten up, but he learns from his lesson. This is a Hollywood story if you think about it, because at the end, love will prevail, and that's what all was over, love. Now, I give you one more thing. Fire spitting, I was doing that as well. If you ever decide to do that, you do it with lamp oil, at least that's what we did. Put it in your mouth, don't swallow for sure, because that's very dangerous. And when you blow out, you go, whatever you do, never open your mouth. But if you have asthma, and this is a good tip for you, apparently when the oil is out, there's still oil in your mouth, and if you breathe that in, those fumes can trigger an asthma attack, which it did with me. So watch out. Thankfully nowadays, the last asthma attack I had, or like a big attack like that, is a long time ago, and nowadays they just give you a shot and immediately 10 seconds later the asthma is gone. It's amazing what they can do right now. So watch out if you decide to fire spit, and kids at home, don't do it. Fire spitting, don't open your mouth, make sure you don't breathe in, and even after you fire spit, is that even a word? Yeah, fire spat, whatever it is. I'm still Dutch. Make sure that you don't inhale the fumes, because that could be trouble. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that story. It was a crazy story. Thank you, Leon. Godspeed, and breathe on. Breathe on. Yeah, that's because of the O2 trainer. Oh.